Hi all, this is being a new concept and new course in which I will explain few of the things on topic of OpenShift concepts. So we'll see few of the open discussion on OpenShifts and concept so you can get familiar on the topic. So what is the purpose of this course? The main objects of this course is to get familiar with the concept and terms of used in OpenShift. So those concepts such as we see OpenShift container platform architecture. So here you see how the architecture overview of an OpenShift container where the upper and the lower layers are distributed among their working models, where we see the left hand side the persistent storage, whereas in the right hand side developers which has the CI/CD pipeline with automation test tools which are highly connected with the master slaves and the architecture which is based on the Red Hat Linux enterprises on the upper layer, where the routing layer which holds all the traffic coming out and go, which is like a main front area of OpenShift container platform, which is an application fronting, where the lower layer we can see the service layer where it's based on the physical, virtual, private and public cloud system. In the next slide we see what is the OpenShift container platform architecture looks like, which is like has many different components all together, the same as we see in a previous image where the layers are distributed and their working models is similar to and depend on each other. So in the next slide you see what is the security concepts are held very practical on the base of the OpenShift container platform, a platform which is based of on the Kubernetes API architecture views, where the users are who present their credentials and authorize themselves to be their particular roles. Roles are differentiated both on the developer side as well as on the administrator can authorize, while the numbers of mean and primary auth which can be tokenized SSL certified authorization. Authorization is handled in OpenShift Content Platform Policy Engine, which defines action like create pod or list services and group them into roles and policy document. Roles are based on two users and group by their users or group identifier. When a user or a service account attempts an action, the policy engine checks for one or more of the role assigned to the user. The cluster administrator and administrator of the cluster project before allowing to continue. In this next slide, we see the core concept of OpenShift. So there are a few core concepts which is listed here, such as container and images, which is again a concept from Docker and Kubernetes, where we use it. Pods and services again inherited from Kubernetes, which communicate with each other, and proxy containers and connections. Projects users provide space. That means communication to organization and manage the content together. The following slide will describe the core concept of OpenShift. What are the core concepts we see in OpenShift? Builds, image, stream, deployments, routes, which is like announce your service to world. Templates allow you for many objects to be created at once based on the customization parameter, just like the uh, templates you use in Kubernetes or Ansible, such as containers and images. These are the like a very core concept followed by Docker Kubernetes, and that containers goes beyond the limits. So this is a one of thing. Pods and services again. This is the kind of a most important part of uh, OpenShift concepts, where those services and pods are held by OpenShift content platform, which is like the concept come from the Kubernetes itself, which is a one of the more container deployment together at once in a host, a smaller computer unit that can be defined, deployed, or managed. Services. A Kubernetes service serves as an internal load balancer. It identifies a set of replica pods in order to proxy connections it receives to them. Backing pods can be added to or removed from the service, which is like a service remains a consistent availability, enabling everything depends on the service to refer it to consist addresses, projects, and users. This is one of concept comes from the OpenShift. A project is Kubernetes namespace. Again, it is like OpenShift is nothing but uh, handling a layer on top of Kubernetes, which handle all the resources of Kubernetes, which comes under many such as. So users, one of thing which like interact with OpenShift containers platform is associated with a user. An OpenShift container platform user object represents an actor which is be granted permission in a system by adding roles to them or to the groups. Several type of users can exist like a regular user, system user, or service accounts. In the following slide, we see build and image streams. So what the main concept behind it all together OpenShift is the builds and images which hold all the namespaces along streamline. So the that is concept here where we see in the following streamline which is like build where the build a process of transforming input parameter into resulting object, which is like a very simple format of build. Then image stream is associated with the targets and tags that provide abstract for reflecting Docker images from within a Docker shift or OpenShift and container platform. Deployment routes and templates. Again, this is a very core concepts of OpenShift, which we have seen previously as well. So there is a main difference why we use containers and why we not use VM, or why we use VM versus containers. There's a lot of discussion on that. One of the very similar people going with containers and why not with VM. So the determination of which is better, it is containers or VM, depend on what you're trying to accomplish, like what you want results outcome from that. So those are the things here mentioned, which will take us through what are the things we choose on base of our requirement accomplishments. The benefit of container, which is like very common nowadays, people going towards a container more likely than a VMs in traditional machines setup, which is like very aggregator to handle over the period of time. So just like benefit of driving them from speed and lightweight nature, which is like and VM and containers are different quite in a few dimensions. But the primary because of containers are prone to be a very virtualized and OS in order to multiple workspace, and workload might be the running out of the single OS instance, whichever the VMs and hardware which is being utilized and virtualized and to run multiple OS instance. Containers and speed agility of their portability may take them on the tool to help streamline many softwares development companies. So, so what's different between the images and parts? We have seen here this thing quite recent and is very common. Then we see the DevOps integration. How does it works when it's come to DevOps experience? Start with SCM. The first developer comes and push their changes on GitHub, GitLab, any source management uh, tool you use upon that. Then it's registry where we accomplish that particular storing format of those things, where after the build which goes off Docker layer where we dockerize and letting push to the registry, whereas the fifth where we accomplish the webhook APIs, and the seventh and the eighth where the registry again that goes to servers and store all the application start to end. OpenShift S2I, which is like a build and deploy an image, which is like build images. We have seen many stateful and stateless applications being like used over the builder images. So this is the one of the demonstration of that. So where the code build and deploy a strategy how it goes. We can use like a streamline thing, which is like a format of a source, and the developers are same kind of, which goes to build an image and the source the image, and again deploy containers, images with the help of images registry, which store on with various application accomplish of that. And OpenShift build and deployment, another slide where we see here uh, how is uh, how is like master tool stuff work from the building, from the deployment and the OS stuff. So is a one of simple format demonstration of that. And here we have a completion finish this small course on the basic concept of OpenShift and related stuff. Thank you all.